Welcome to ROQ Shop Talk, your official podcast from ROQ US, available where you get your podcasts and broadcasts live on Zoom each week, designed to empower you and the greatest screen printing professional you can be.
For details, please visit ROQ.us, ROQ Shop Talk. President and General Manager Ross Hunter and guests will discuss all things screen printing and ideas to help you press onward.
Best practices, silly anecdotes, and the latest on cutting-edge technology in the field. Today's episode features the topic of digital and the future of screen printing, and we're joined by our special guests, myself, Joshua Foster, and Kasey Bryan, my wife, of Aspen Company, and Rob Welch and Bobby Panico of ROQ US.
All right, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about digital printing. Again, we're joined by Josh and Kasey of Aspen Company, Bobby Panico of Green Galaxy and ROQ US, Rob Welch of ROQ US, and our very own Merrill Capps from ROQ US.
Hello.
We will be taking you guys through the current state of our industry, what digital means right now, especially during this pandemic. We've seen a lot of changes. We're going to talk to Josh and Kasey about their business and what they've experienced over the last few months, as well as go into some things that, you know, people need to think about before they're getting into digital technology, digital printing. I know we've got a pretty large screen printing audience, but digital is definitely something on, you know, the forefront and definitely on people's minds, especially right now with the web to print market, you know, really taking off into hyperdrive. I mean, I'm going to use your intro word for that, but it truly is happening. So I kind of wanted to get started and turn this over to Josh and Kasey to kind of explain a little bit about their business, what they do, and then why ROQ? What brought you guys here? And that was a lot of questions, but let's just start with you guys' business. Give everyone your website and what you're all about and where those roots came from.
It's like baby clothing for families, grandmas, grandpas, just like family-based clothing and hats and stuff. After our daughter was born, we had done t-shirts and stuff before on Etsy, and then it stopped. And then once Aspen was born, I decided to start a baby clothing shop. It just started with baby clothes, and then we ended up growing towards for moms and dads, all types of family tees. But we just do basically orders that are made once they're ordered. What were the other questions?
So it's all custom, basically. Yeah. So people get on your website's aspenandcompany.com. Is that correct?
Aspen-company.com.
Aspen-company.com. So people get on. I know I actually got on. I ordered a shirt for my son Asher. He loves dinosaurs, and basically the user experience. You know, we got on. We found a garment that we liked that had it. I think you guys separate them by backgrounds. Is that correct? So sort of like what you can create out of a certain type of canned design. Yeah. So we got on and we found the dinosaur shirts, and, you know, we wanted to customize it with his name. It was a really simple process. Just typed in his name. It previewed, you know, what everything's going to look like. And then what do you guys do with it from there? So someone places an order. What's the process flow of that order coming in and you guys printing, and what were you using and currently still using until we get you set up with your ROQ Now to kind of get that order fulfilled and out?
No. So once our orders come in, we have so many different methods right now. We have screen print transfers. Okay. And then we have our Epson F2000 and F2100 that prints all of our custom stuff. So we have a transfer stack and a print stack. All the print stack stuff goes to a person on the computer that has to make the custom TIFFs for each order. Yeah.
That's me.
That's you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If he has time, or someone else. But
it gets done. And
then those go to our DTG workers, and then they print the customs, and then we have transfer people that print our transfers. And we have a hat section, and then it just all comes together and gets shipped at the end.
Nice. And how many orders are you guys outputting on an average day right now?
How many are we getting ordered, or how many are we shipping?
Well, let's go with both. I know you're very busy, so I'm sure what you're getting ordered is higher than what's going out the door.
No.
Well, it's kind of flip-flopped a little. Yeah. We've added more people, but we're getting can be anywhere between 400 and 600 orders a day.
Wow.
And if we have a good day of shipping, we can get out 1,000, 1,200 packages. So we're catching up, but also not because of the weekends, everything else happening.
Awesome. You guys have been doing that then on the two machines plus having transfers.
Yeah. And then we have an 8-head Beruden that we make 300-400 hats a day with and stuff. So
nice. Do you guys sleep?
No.
That's awesome. So what brought you guys to us? Like what sparked, the conversation of, obviously you've grown substantially, you're very busy and you're needing a new solution. So what brought you here?
So back in November, I saw a YouTube video of the ROQ Now, and then I was like, oh, well, fuck, that's unattainable, if only type shit. And then I guess January, we started ramping up with more marketing and more stuff like that. So we were falling behind, and it was only 3 of us. And I was like, fuck again. So then I went back to YouTube, watched it again. I can cuss whatever I want. And watched the YouTube video again and like, Kasey, what the fuck?
I was like, yeah, it must be nice.
Yeah. And then we made an inquiry with Ryan, I think, but I don't know if I heard back immediately or if it just got lost in the slew of emails that I never saw back. And then I saw it again on Facebook in a group. And then I was like, okay, well, it's time. So contacted again and then started talking to Rob and Bobby. And then Bobby was like, nah, you don't need it. And Rob was like, yeah, you do. And now they're like, oh, wait, yeah, now you definitely do. Okay. But yeah, and here we are.
Did I tell you you don't need it? I don't remember that.
What attracted you guys to that specific solution? Obviously, there's a lot, out there. What about the ROQ Now kind of made sense in your business model?
50,000 designs.
Yeah, the custom nature.
Full color and custom natures, and not just printing out one shirt on a screen printing press, 1,000 an hour, slaving away. Because our art is what is selling. It's not necessarily our garments. Don't get me wrong, our garments are nice and they're the highest quality that we can really get, but it's our artwork and her artwork mostly, my hat stuff, but mostly her artwork, and that's what's selling. It's not the $5 onesie that anyone can get. It's what she's putting on it. So that just unleashes her to put, thousands upon thousands of shit in the next 5 years onto stuff.
We haven't even been able to come out with new designs just because we can't handle it right now.
Gotcha.
We haven't come out with anything new but once in the last 2.5 months, probably.
Yeah, just a couple things, maybe like 10 new things.
Yeah, I will speak on the quality too of the garments that you're talking about. I think my son's worn his shirt at least once a week, and we've washed it obviously multiple times. It never shrunk. It really held true, and they're super comfy. So kudos to you guys on doing that research and getting good garments in, because that definitely is what creates those reoccurring clients and actually makes the digital print better. I mean, the better the garment you use with digital, the better it seems to turn out. Bobby, can you kind of speak a little bit to garment selection, digital printing, especially for our web to print folks that are listening out there? I know that there's a lot of correlation between that quality, how, pre-treat reacts, how the inks react to the garment. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The better the quality of the garment, the better the weave, the less fibers that are sticking up, the better the overall print is going to look. We have a process of pre-treating and then flattening the fibers down with heat presses. Now, that obviously helps and gets the quality pretty good on everything. But of course, like you said, the better the initial quality of the garment, the better the final output is going to be of the print.
And is there a difference in like ring spun versus standard cotton? I mean, is there like a recommendation when you're doing digital on what type of fabric you should be looking for in terms of the way that it's sewn?
Not ring spun versus open end. Is more about the quality of the finish on it. If there's hair sticking up or not, and how open or closed the weave is to how the final product is going to look and behave with the print.
Awesome. And Josh and Kasey, have you guys found specific brands that definitely are like go-to for digital, and maybe some that I don't want to call out brands not being digitally friendly, but I mean, do you guys have specific brands that you definitely go to?
Yes. We use Royal Apparel. I think they're based in LA. And then,
New York.
Oh, yeah, New York. Whoops. And then a lot of their stuff is organic cotton, 100% cotton. So that seems to print very well. And then there's normally, like, if it's anyone's printing on onesies, there are different types of onesies. There's a more expensive fine jersey onesie that doesn't have the laps. And the weave in those, like Bobby was just talking about, is closer. So those do print better, even though they're a little more expensive.
Way better.
So like they don't crack as easy because the weaves aren't as close. So if you pull on it and stuff, those onesies seem to crack more. And then the Royal Apparel onesies print 100 times better than like normal rabbit skins onesies. It's
Gotcha.
Really-
So yeah, I mean, definitely a key takeaway, for folks that are listening, that, when you get into this, there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of things that make a difference in that quality. It's not just the machine, but it's the chemistry, it's the garment that you're going on, etc. So awesome. So, you guys just got all this new equipment. You are obviously investing heavily in your future, and you just got your new space. And, what we really wanted to understand is what is the goal? So if you're to look at Aspen Company 5 years from now, beyond just a dollar figure of, as we all know, we want to be multimillionaires. I mean, that's always right. The goal, I guess, for some people, but a billion. Yeah. Merrill wants to be a billionaire. But what is your goal? Where do you want to see this company go? What does the future look like? Is it an expansion on what you're currently doing? Are you guys looking at other markets? Are you looking at expanding in different places?
We really want to expand into our own manufacturing. That's, I think, our next step.
So your goal is to take it vertical then. So you guys would be manufacturing your garments,
Yep.
printing them, shipping them. So basically a full vertical factory.
Blanks as well.
Yeah, blank baby clothes.
To small shops that like us. I also want to sleep in 5 years.
That would be good. Sleep is important.
No more
Absolutely.
No more 9
Overrated.
It's part of the grind. I remember when I opened my business, my first business, 12, 13 years ago now, I'd say the first 5 years I had a couch set up in my shop, and there were plenty of 23-hour days and sleep when you can make it happen. Hopefully this piece of equipment that you guys got and the fact that you've added some team members, it sounds like, to really help your operations will speed you up, get production out, and then allow you guys to work more, on your business instead of in it. We talk about that phrase a lot, especially in this industry. It's so common for folks to work, really in their business for a really long time and sometimes forever. Mm-hmm. And automation and obviously hiring and working on your operations, such an important thing to be able to work on it. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, we are going to take this moment and go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. When it comes to your business, time is a luxury we simply cannot afford. Your clients and customers won't want to hear that you're backed up with a mountain of orders that will bring them a delay. But with the ROQ Now, time is a luxury you'll soon discover you'll have it quite a bit more of. The groundbreaking inline process takes your garment from pre-treatment to final finishing in one touch, taking DTG printing to a whole new playing field. Unmatched in the industry, the Now takes a tedious 5-station process and reduces it into one simple and time-saving step. If you're in need of being capable of printing 100 to 200 unique prints per hour, your time is now. Welcome back to ROQ Shop Talk, your one-stop ROQ shop where we discuss all things screen printing. Today, we're joined by our special guests, Josh and Kasey of Aspen Company, Bobby Panico of Green Galaxy and ROQ US, Rob Welch of ROQ US, and we are talking to you about digital printing and all things digital, actually. So I kind of want to get started back in, with the relationship piece real quick and go to Rob and just, tell us about this whole journey, that you took Josh and Kasey on and what that meant to you. I mean, this was a pretty, big deal for them, obviously, getting into this equipment. And you and I had talked a little bit about, kind of this sort of emotional experience, that you've had just being involved in a part of getting them to, where they're trying to go. So can you speak to the audience a little bit about that experience?
Absolutely. So, Josh and Kasey had, put out feelers to us back in January. Just wanted to get some information. I had reached out 2 or 3 times and never got a hold of them, sent some emails. I was just like, I literally was sending an email saying, if you ever need anything, you have any questions, I'm super happy to help you. I understand things are busy, just give me a call whenever you feel like it. And Josh responded immediately. He was like, oh man, I've been so busy. I've got 15 minutes right now. And so I was like, awesome, let's do this. So we jump on a phone call, we're talking a little bit, it's real just equipment. What does this do? What can this do? What does this cost? It was real sterile, as far as a conversation goes.
I'm sure Josh is loving hearing that right now.
Well, hold on. So it gets even better. So so after that phone call, I go to the grocery store and I get a Facebook friend request from Josh.
Yep.
I pull up my phone. I'm like, oh, cool. I send him a little Facebook message. Oh, hey there, buddy. And from that moment on, which was probably 5 weeks ago, maybe 6, I don't know. From that moment on, we have spoken every day. Sometimes it's for 20 minutes, sometimes it's for 3 hours. And really just got to know each other on a super personal level that it was just amazing. I just felt like a kinship and a brotherhood. And as I'm kind of going through and then do the professional side of things and building out a proposal and doing all this time and trying to help him in every way I can, because they're so busy, they're trying to find a warehouse and they're trying to do all these things. It's just way overwhelming. So I'm helping in every way I possibly can. I put this proposal together, and as I'm giving it to them and saying, here, this is what I've built out. This is my vision for your guys' business. I legitimately got choked up at the end of it, because I realized that what we were doing was we were setting up a path that would have a future where, and I said it at the end of the call, that, Kasey and Josh and Aspen are on vacation somewhere. I imagine Aspen to be 11, 12 years old. They're on a beach. And at that moment, they're like, hey, we want to show you this video. And, she's in this future, she's grown up in this world, in this industry. Mom and dad have a good business, just what it is, she doesn't know any different. And then show this video of them slaving away, in a firehouse, and then getting into a warehouse and getting equipment built. And then this whole documentary of the whole building of the business. And then she realizes how hard her mom and dad worked to give her the life that she has right now. And that she starts crying and everyone starts crying, and it's this big emotional moment. And and that's what really was for me was we're helping them get to that moment, and everything in between here and there is just that journey. And so it meant the world to me. And then after that, it's just been nonstop. I mean, so literally Josh and I will talk for an hour at the end of his day when he's wrapping things up and just waiting to leave the shop, about everything and anything. And
that's really cool.
It's a partnership, and I know that'll make Josh laugh. But really
Josh has given me flack over my own word when we were on the phone, and I remember it was the first time I had met you guys, and I definitely used the word customer maybe 2 or 3 times, and Josh had done his homework and was like, I'm pretty sure I'm a partner, Ross.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it was good. It's good, and it's cool. I've been in this industry for a lot of years now, and been able to be a part of a lot of what Rob's talking about right now, which is, really what excites us about what we do every day, which is being a part of other people's business journey. Not, it's not just the equipment. It's, we like to tout that, yeah, we have great equipment, and we do have great equipment, but at the end of the day, it's a tool. You guys are going to use that to better your lives, and we get to be a part of that journey with you. And that's what's, super fun about what we get to do. So it's really cool, Rob, that you guys were able to have, that experience, and that experience will probably turn into a lifelong, friendship. And that's awesome. So very cool story. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I'll get a few people's opinions on this, but, as we all know, we've been going through this pandemic, worldwide for the last few months, and stay-at-home orders, and, a lot of businesses out there, having rougher times than others. Some people are, pivoting and or maybe already in an industry that's, become wildly successful. We all know grocery stores like hit the lottery when this happened, right? I mean, just happenstance. But, I just want to get some opinions. I'll start with Bobby. How do you feel like this pandemic has specifically affected the screen printing market and this kind of pivot to digital? Like what have you seen there? What does that look like?
Well, I think screen printing market had the opposite of what grocery stores saw. In that screen printing is in the U.S. and in Canada. A lot of it is event based and concerts, promotional wear. When this hit, people stopped promoting. There were no events. There's no runs. There's no concerts. So a lot of that, all of that work disappeared. So we saw a lot of the screen printing customers having some real hard times with the situation. And aside from that, they were told that maybe they're not essential, and maybe they're forced closed down even if they had some orders to do. That's really, it's been particularly hard for people who are in those sectors of screen printing. And did you want me to switch gears and talk about a little bit about how the digital is affected?
Right. I mean, we saw one part of our industry, obviously traditional screen printing kind of changed, where, a lot of shops, and I know Josh and Kasey, you guys have screen printing equipment too. So it's, you've kind of got both. We've seen a change in that part, but, from the digital side, I feel like it's almost been an opposite effect a little bit. That, screen printing is definitely, like you said, from the traditional sense, taken a pretty big hit. I mean, we haven't even seen Major League Sports come back yet, right? And that's a big part of a lot of people's business. But what have you seen, from the digital market? You specifically work with a ton of people, that are big in that space. So what's been kind of the difference in that digital space?
So yeah, in the screen printing as well, the customers in the screen printing that make orders that end up being sold online versus for events, so direct to consumer business is doing well. So in the screen printing side, that again, that's not really the main way of doing that. It's more so in the digital. So digital, we saw our customers are seeing numbers that they only see really around Christmas time. So it took an industry that was already booming because, I think last year I read somewhere that 51% of retail purchases for a holiday season were done online. So as more and more people become comfortable purchasing online, I remember 10 years ago, it was like, do I really want to put my credit card in on this computer? Right now, it's like, I put your credit card in and the stuff arrives tomorrow. It's more convenient to buy online than it is to go to the store and get something. And as that convenience shifts, as consumer buying pattern shifts, people start obviously buying more online, and that's how that economy, that sector of our business has been growing. It's complementary, and I don't think it's taken away from screen printing. What it's doing is it's complementing, it's adding more, and it's maybe, if it's taken away from anything, it's taken away from the big box retailers. That those consumer dollars are now being spent by the guy sitting at home ordering that interesting design online that maybe very few people have that particular design compared to you're going into Walmart and you're buying the same shirt that everybody else has off the shelf. So
absolutely.
So we're seeing that's growing, and it took that market that's already growing and supercharged it. So people are now getting the numbers they're getting in holiday season. They're getting that during the COVID. So they're gearing up for double that during the holiday season. So it's
it's been really, a big boost to the numbers that people who are doing web to print or custom made orders are doing.
Absolutely. And I know, Josh and Kasey, you guys have seen obviously a huge pickup in the first quarter of this year, through this whole pandemic. It's been interesting. And I personally come from a place where I never bought anything online. I was like always the guy that wanted instant gratification. So if I needed a cable for my iPhone, I would literally go to a Radio Shack and spend 5 times the amount of money just so I could have it then, because I didn't want to wait till the next day to have it. And it's been interesting, to kind of see my buying habits have actually changed. And, oddly, I never thought I would be like randomly scrolling through Facebook, and have some sponsored feed. This happened the other day. There was a company doing custom t-shirts. I mean, similar to exactly what Josh and Kasey do, and probably similar way to the way you advertise. And I actually clicked on this thing and I perused their website and I bought a $30 t-shirt while I was sitting there.
Call me. No.
Hey, I did get a shirt for my son. I got to get one for my wife now too. But, I wonder, if this is going to completely reshape our industry, because I have this premonition that a lot of people like myself that, weren't online shoppers have now discovered not only the ease of it, but the custom nature of what you're able to get compared to walking into a Macy's or a Walmart or JCPenney or whatever the case may be, right? And, if that mentality shifts in the United States and Canada and the world as we know it, retail is going to change and thus change our industry, because we are the ones out there, Josh and Kasey specifically, right, that are spearheading this movement by getting the capacity, getting the equipment, getting everything in place, for a very possible future where we see more online buying than we've ever seen, and it continues to stick. I mean, I know a lot of folks I've talked to that have bought their groceries online, and maybe some of you guys have done this as well. That's the only place I haven't done it yet. They've told me I will never go back to the grocery store again. It's not that the grocery store is going to go out of business or the grocery store is going to change. It's just the way that people are purchasing, is changing.
Amazon has made the giant push of, people being okay with ordering online. I mean, they're massive. And then you get Amazon doing it first, more or less, but doing it first and the scale that they're doing it and the growth that they're doing it and investing everything they have every year into themselves and doing it more. And then you have people like Walmart, which I think they have the most employees of any company in the United States or the world or whatever, but then they see Amazon doing it and they're like, holy shit, we need to do this. And now we need to get the groceries to their door because we need to beat Amazon before they start opening grocery stores. So I'm saying it's becoming super accepted with their, 50,000 sales per 4 seconds on Amazon. So I'm saying it's becoming a worldwide, accepted.
Buying patterns.
Yeah.
Well, it's just interesting to see what that'll end up doing for an industry, right? It's like, as the consumer changes. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, I was going to say for us, what I see is, again, not hurting screen printing. I think screen printing is going to be the same because you're still, going to do your events and all that in a screen printing fashion. That may, obviously become more automated and there's going to be some changes there in technology. Again, on a retail level, it's going to change. And, we saw, I think last year I saw I read an article about, it wasn't Zara, it was the other big European big box retailer. I forgot their name now. It's on the tip of my tongue. They ended up stuck with $6 billion of unsold styles and inventory. What I see is it's going to bring local on-demand retail shopping, retail producing back to United States and Canada and back to Europe again. So people are making what they need to sell, and the technology to do that is digital.
Absolutely. So, how do you guys feel that digital is most effectively used in our industry? I mean, is it really solely for the web to print market? You know, Josh and Kasey, have you guys used your digital technology in other ways? And Bobby, I know you've been in a lot of different places. So for those of the listeners here that aren't necessarily in the web to consumer market, you know, where else are these digital machines used, you know, to offset screen printing?
I mean, anything, if you don't feel like loading 10 color jobs, I mean, or even 6 color jobs, or even a 2 color job, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you can make 300 shirts an hour with clicking start and you have to do nothing else, and, you know, say you're not a guy that's making 10,000 shirts at a time. Well, sure, if you are, go ahead, buy Nico, get out of here. But if you're doing smaller jobs of a couple hundred shirts, why even burn a screen ever again in your life?
Right. So like customers like a restaurant or something that comes in and wants, you know, 100 shirts with 12 colors on it.
You can take anything at that point. You don't have to deny the 24 shirt guy because you want to charge him $28. Well, instead you can charge him 16 and, you know, make his 24 shirts in 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
So,
and I mean, a follow-up question to that then is, it seems like a natural progression for, you know, folks that are screen printing now, probably starting in a similar way that you guys did. And you started with some tabletop, I think you said Epsons, correct? So, you know, if you're trying to retain that work that you're speaking of, you know, someone comes in and wants 12 or 14 shirts or whatever, I mean, that's kind of the game that they get in, right? Is you kind of go into a tabletop unit, get started, you know, and then build, you know, a business and expand on that and then upgrade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. What do you guys feel is the best place that people could go to learn about new technology in this industry? So the new digital equipment. I mean, obviously, Josh and Kasey, you guys did some homework. You know, Bobby, maybe you have an opinion. Rob, maybe you do too. Let's start with Josh and Kasey. I mean, where do you guys get your information?
Where do we get our information, like in general of this?
Yeah, just as you're going through and you're trying to learn, are you hitting forums? Are you hitting, you know, specific groups within the industry to get info?
Facebook groups, and you search your question that you're curious of. Go ahead and then read everything, and then read it again, and then Google, and then if you really don't know something and you want to talk to a professional, call a tech, talk to them, spend the money even if you have to. Otherwise, go to Denver Print House and learn something from there, and then in a couple months, come over to our place because we'll have the first one in the United States. So,
well, thanks for opening up your doors. You guys heard it first. We are all invited to Aspen Company. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Bobby, do you have a place where you would really guide people to go for new technology?
Yeah, I think you know, it's not any one particular place. It's all of them, right? You know, this is obviously a big decision for people to get it when they're making this type of decision. There's different technologies out there. There's technologies that take multiple steps. There's technologies that are single step, right? You just look at everything, and you know, listen to the pros and cons. Talk to people. Trade shows, of course, is a good place to see everything side by side, right?
And what's the best digital, like in terms of like if you got to pick a show to go to, you know, throughout the year, which one has the biggest digital presence?
Obviously, it's going to be SGIA. SGIA is a great place to go, and as well as the ISS Long Beach show.
Okay, and just so our listeners know, SGIA did change their name to Print United. So those of you that are, you know, wanting to Google that show, it is under Print United.
Still haven't registered that name change yet.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think that show's in October this year. We should be there with the ROQ Now. I'm assuming that, you know, COVID doesn't, you know, pop up and change our plans. And there's a lot of other vendors there as well with different technologies and different machines. So it's a definitely great place to go get that information.
I think YouTube. Yeah, I think YouTube is a really, really important platform. I think if you're wanting to find out about equipment and you search digital screen printing equipment or anything, and you find well-produced, well-shot videos with the right tags and the right title, you're going to find it right away and you're going to be able to experience it. And then when you're looking and you see a video that looks like it was shot on a grainy, shitty camera and the editing's terrible and the voiceover and the titles are bad, you're like, nah, the equipment could be amazing. And you'd be like, no, this doesn't look nice. So, and it's specifically for me, and I think like a lot of like the millennial generation, they're going to go to Google, they're going to go to YouTube. That's going to be like the first things that they search on. And having that video content and having it look really professional and have all the information you need, I think is critical to not only just marketing, but finding new and innovative technology.
Absolutely. And that's why we have a Merrill Capps here, everyone.
Thank you,
Mr. Video Extraordinaire. Well, we're going to take another quick break and we will be right back to talk more digital. So I told a chemistry joke once, but there wasn't very good reaction. So Saudi makes some pretty awesome chemicals for screen printing. Your Lotus Holland screen reclaim machine will need 2 crucial chemicals at certain ratios to maximize performance. For optimal screen printing chemistry, we recommend using Saudi's IR26 ink remover in a 5-gallon pail and Saudi's ER2 emulsion remover in 1.3 gallons. For these items and other expert supplies, please visit ROQ.us. That's ROQ.us. Welcome back to Rock Shop Talk, your one-stop rock shop where we discuss all things screen printing. Today, we're joined by our special guests, Josh and Kasey of Aspen Company, Bobby Panico of Green Galaxy and ROQ US, Mr. Rob Welch of ROQ US, and of course, our great creative director, Merrill Capps, also with ROQ US. Always. And we're here talking to you about digital automation and kind of the landscape of the digital industry in the current time that we live in. So we'll get diving back in here and, I'll direct this question at kind of everyone. So everyone wants to chime in. But what should our listeners think about before they go digital? Like, what's the business case? What's the problem they're trying to solve? What should they think about in their business before they start adding, whether it's a tabletop digital machine to their current screen printing business or, going into, something larger? What are some pitfalls, some things that folks need to think about?
Well, a big thing is it's not so much make sure that you have the work. It's you have to have equipment to do the work. So it's like, I bought a Trotec laser and I had a Glowforge before. Well, I didn't need the Trotec laser, but I can't grow the engraving side of our business without it. So what am I going to do? Just keep using the Glowforge forever? So it's if you're at that point where, you want to do something and get better and do more, then you have to invest into yourself. Because if you don't, then you're just going to have a single, screen printing one color for the rest of your life. So.
Well, and the reason too I ask is because, so many times we see people attend a trade show and they have their wallet or their purse and they have money in a bank account and they're walking through these booths and they're like, wow, this is cool. Mm-hmm. I bet I could make money off of that. And they buy it. And we see so many times those machines turn into glorified paperweights. I mean, if you want my honest opinion.
Sure.
So what in those moments should people really dive deep and think about before just going? I mean, it's very Tony Robbins style just to say, you know what, I'm going to do it and cross the coals and jump in. But, there's this business piece of it that I think people miss sometimes. So what should they be thinking about?
Business. I mean, if you're doing it to just put in your room and say, hey, come look at this, look what I bought, it's nonsense. They need to have a business plan before they do anything. Mm-hmm. They need to have a brand awareness. They need to have anything in their mind already rolling with what they want to do before they buy anything.
Just to chime in here, I think 100% right. They got to have a business plan, right?
Yeah.
They got to know what they want to do. Are they graphic artists? Do they want to create their own content? Do they want to create a website and sell direct to the consumer themselves? That's one kind of business model. And it's getting started. Yeah, maybe a great way to do that is with digital. Are they trying to do website fulfillment for somebody else? So then if you're going to do that, then you need to know who that person is that's going to give you the work and why you're buying the machine in the first place. If it's just a hobby, then it really doesn't matter. You buy it and try it and play around, and maybe sometimes those turn into businesses for people.
Sure.
Absolutely.
They bought it for a hobby, and then all of a sudden people are starting to throw them work. And they say, well, I mean, the machine I got is really made for doing one shirt at a time, but my customers are now coming to me and asking me for 50 shirts, 100 shirts. Well, maybe I should buy a small screen printing setup. And a lot of times we'll see people start up with a small digital, end up into screen printing, end up at ROQ, and then maybe turning full circle and coming back into digital again as their business changes, right? So really, depending on what problem you're trying to solve with the equipment. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that makes sense. It's just it's such an interesting thing because a lot of people, get into one of these industries, whether it's sign making or vinyl or screen printing or digital, and then a lot of folks right out of the gate, they add in all this complementary technology because it makes sense, right? Logically, you think, okay, if I'm wrapping this company's car, they probably need shirts. And so you end up with, 3 or 4, for lack of better terms, businesses under one roof, and you're not proficient in any one of them. You're okay at a lot of them. And I always find what's interesting is digital is a whole different ballgame. I mean, it isn't screen printing. It's a completely different technology. There's more involved. You have to have a different artistic mind, a different engineering mind, a different attention to detail when you're digitally printing. And I think that that's something that a lot of, consumers don't understand is this is a different business. And so to your point, Josh, of a business plan, and out to our listeners, those of you thinking of diversifying your company, whether it's into digital printing on t-shirts or, adding, vinyl to your business, you really have to understand what you're planning to do with that, who your market is, and then are you as an individual, if you're still working in your business, going to be the person that's running that, right? Because it is different. I'm a great screen printer, but I have an artist's entrepreneurial mind. And digital, for me, I would probably have to hire someone, right, that would come in, that had a greater attention to detail, could sit in front of a computer for, a longer period of time, do artwork in a different way. And I think that that's something that folks just don't think about because it does logically come into, well, it's complementary, let's add it. And so I think that's just important to note to the people out there thinking about is really have a plan put together and really understand who you are and whether it's something that you're going to be, able to do and test it first. Go somewhere, play with the machine, whether it's at a trade show or another shop that you can walk into to see these things going, because it does make a big difference because they're fairly involved. Digital started almost like flat screen TVs did, 10 years ago, right? I mean, it's been around for a while. People have been developing it more. It definitely is great in a lot of ways, but it's not perfect. When we're thinking 10 years from now, today, it's not where it needs to be. Bobby, can you talk a little bit about like the advancements that we personally are working on making and that are being made industry-wide, from the technology and the equipment itself, but also the inks, the pre-treatments, and sort of like what it works on now, what it doesn't, and what we're working towards as an industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess 20 years ago, I remember, there was digital was going to take over the industry. And if you're screen printing, you better get into digital quickly because, there was this threat and everybody jumped out and got the little machines. And they were, like you said, they all turned into paperweights because the technology wasn't there back then. And also how it's sold now. Digital has been booming because it's a marriage between what the technology does very well and how people are shopping online and how it's the two things that are really coming together that are making digital and made to order garments really boom. So second part of that question is, it's the right tool for the right job, right? Sometimes you need a hammer, you don't need a screwdriver, right? So the digital is made to do that particular job extremely well. And the majority of that is going to be on cotton t-shirts. It doesn't work very well on 100% polyesters that bleed. You can do...
And that though, I mean, to cut you off there, that's something that we're working towards, right? And that's more of I believe a chemistry issue. So it's the inks working correctly with that type of fabric, as well as the pre-treatment laying down the right way.
Our ink partner, which is DuPont, has been very focused on coming up with a solution for that. It's definitely something that is being worked on right now.
And what I mean, that'll kind of change the future too, right? Because I mean, what'd you say, maybe 40 to 50% of printed garments, if not more, especially in the, athletic world that we work in, are printed on poly or poly blends. I know a lot of, big brands, Nike, Adidas, et cetera. I mean, actually probably in their world, 80 or 90% of what they make is printed on polyester. So do you feel like when this, I guess chemistry evolves, that it's going to change this market even more than where we're already at now?
Yeah, it's just going to open it up. It's going to open it up to another segment of market. Again, if you're screen printing right now, it's not going to take away everything you're doing, but it's going to open up and take away from those garments being brought in from somewhere overseas for a web to print type of application, because those dollars are being spent that way, right? Absolutely. Or taking it away from a vinyl application where they're actually cutting out the vinyl, sticking it on individually. I've been to places where they do that for a polyester garment, for a replica jersey, and it's such quite tedious amount of work. So it's going to jump in and help, those shirts that are already being sold to be done in a different way that's better and easier for them to produce.
Awesome.
So.
Cool. Well, I want to kind of wrap this up. I want to thank Josh and Kasey from Aspen for joining us, Bobby Panico all the way from Canada, Green Galaxy and ROQ US, Rob Welch and Merrill Capps here with ROQ US. Tell our viewers to, visit our website, roq.us. It's ROQ.us. We have the ROQ Now and all of our digital systems available, to check out online. We also have a lot of videos up on YouTube, and have spent this whole week, really focusing on digital. And it's something that, we're really excited to be, launching out here in the US. Excited to see the first machine get up and running at Josh and Kasey's shop. Can't wait to visit you guys. And I know Rob really can't wait to visit you guys, because I think Josh promised him like a ride on the beach in a Bronco or on horses or four-wheeler. Yeah, there you go. And I also enjoy those things, so I will come be a part of that.
In my mind.
I appreciate that, partner. Thank you, partner. So I want to thank our listeners today. Thank all of you for joining us. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us again at roq.us. That's ROQ.us. Have a great day, and we'll be back with you next week. We've got a really great topic on diversity within our industry. I'm really excited to bring on a larger panel of folks to join us to not only talk about diversity in our industry, but what's going on around America and around the world right now. So really excited. Thank you all again. And from me to you, rock on.
Press on.
Oh.
Press onward.
Press onward. Let's all do it at once. 1, 2, 3. Press onward. Want to give a huge thanks to our special guests, Josh Foster and Kasey Bryan of Aspen Company, and Automation Solution Expert Rob Welch, and Solutions Manager Bobby Panico of ROQ US for participating today. As always, thank you for spending your time with us this week. Tune in next week or at your convenience on wherever you listen to your podcast by searching ROQ Shop Talk. That's ROQ Shop Talk. On our next show, we'll discuss the topic of diversity in the screen printing industry. If you'd like to join the live Zoom hangout or even request to be on the show, please visit rock.us/rock shop talk. If you found today's episode helpful, the greatest accolade we could ask for is for you to recommend it to a friend who you think might find it helpful as well. Please like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, rockers, press on.